Welcome to Truss Day. I love it when we finally get to fly trusses up onto the box that we've been building for what seems like forever. This is a first roof of 2 on this house, and you'll see that we're not using a typical crane, but we use boom trucks on the island, and this boom truck operator is fantastic. He has lifted several walls and lots of roof trusses for us over the years, and he is very efficient, effective, and safe in what he does. And he deals with the wind very, very well when helping us put these installations in. So after this, we got pretty busy trying to get this roof done, and we didn't actually film a whole lot about it. So I'll show you some clips of Kelsey and Aaron sheathing the roof, but it's pretty much all we've got. And then we'll just move on to other things, and we'll show you some stuff when we do the second roof.
Good. I will go do my thing. Happy and you don't drop a sheet. If you're happy and you know it, then you really want to show it. Zip your roof. Nail the bottom off. We'll make sure that gable's good after a bit. I'm gonna bring another sheet over. No, I can't. Never mind. Gotta pop strapping. All right, let's address the elephant in the room. The windows. Yes, we've installed the windows out of sequence. Typically, I would wait till the roof was on before we installed windows. We're dried in from above, then we dry in the sides by installing the windows, get that whole weather barrier complete. In this case, we did things out of sequence. We had a valid reason. I don't think that you should always do things out of sequence, but in this instance, in this particular project, the client is the window supplier. The client is also the window installer. And he had an opportunity to bring the windows from a considerable distance away to bring them to the island and install them. Would have I preferred to have the roof on first? Absolutely. But as far as timeline and trying to accommodate everybody, this made sense for this project. We may have to do a little extra work to protect them, but they're pretty rugged windows, so I'm not overly concerned. We'll just have to employ a little bit of care around them. You have to employ care around the windows when we're doing siding anyways, so it's really not a huge ask. Anyways, we've got windows in. We're ahead of schedule on one thing. We're getting ready to tail our trusses off. And even though they're fairly decent, the only way to get a truly straight fascia is to snap a line and cut the ends of the tails off. A couple other things to keep in mind. We're going for a 24-inch finished fascia, so we want a full 24-inch soffit that aids in protecting our building. And we have to keep in mind when we're measuring for that our sheathing is 2 inches thick. So what I've gone and done here is, you can see I'm at 24.5. By the time I put my 1.5 finish, or rough fascia I should say, outside here, I'll be at 26 off the heel. We reduced for 2 inches of sheathing with our R9 zip. That takes this out and gives us a true 24-inch finish fascia. Got a squeegee jig on 512. I put my square up. I line this edge of the blade up with the chalk line. So bring it right onto that chalk line. That's what I have to trim off. Now you don't have to use a square and a jig like this. I've made blocks that go on here. You could just use your square and take it to bubble if you want it that way, or just a simple sliding T-bevel that you've got set to a 512. You can set up your framing square to do this. There's 100 ways to set it up. This is just a convenient setup that I can keep in my pouch all the time. tacking these two boards together because basically I need to make my fascia a little bit longer. And what I mean by that is I don't want to splice back or cut my fascia back to a odd size. So instead, I'm gonna make an 18-foot board out of a scrap and a 16. Well, sometimes struggle bus. Now, this I do have to be a little bit more particular on. I actually have to follow the line quite closely because I don't want to stray. All right, not my best work, but you guys will get the idea here shortly. I'm almost ready to put this together. The only thing I'm missing is my nailer, but I'll get it with a couple of tacks right now. Well, I guess 3.5-inch spike is a little more than a tack, but get a couple of these in. Get a few more from the other side here, and we'll go ahead and get the nailer. You can see the roof sheathing comes up. It stops short of our continuous insulation. And then we have a 63 millimeter, so a little better than 2.5 inches of ventilation space. And the reason we're turning this up the wall and bringing it out up here is because of the environment that we live in. If I did like a shed vent right here, there's always a danger that any wind-driven rain could pile up against this vertical surface and start to kind of wash around or have like a buffering effect. Could overload the vent. We could end up with rainwater coming in. I can bring it up here. Gonna have a nice 8-inch soffit or 8-inch fascia. Bring it down. We can baffle it up here. We're gonna let it vent out up over top. There's less chance that wind and rain are gonna come, hit this, go up and into the point where it's gonna drain down in here and we're gonna have an issue. We haven't had an issue with a detail like this yet, so it's pretty safe to assume that even though we're doing something we haven't done before here by bringing the vent up the wall, once we get it into this space, we shouldn't have to worry about any precipitation getting in. Once we've got our roof sheathed, we get it taped, we roll the tape, we're essentially dried in down below. So if we need to take an extra minute, whether we're waiting on roofing to show up or because this is a custom, we want to get the roof actually sheeted in to get 100% correct measurements before we order our steel, we have options. We're dried in down below. We can proceed with rough-ins. We can proceed with any type of trade work down below. I would even go so far as to put drywall on down below if need be once this roof is taped. It just allows us to continue proceeding without worrying about the weather. And sometimes when you live on an island, whether it's product delays or just the fact that you've got some serious weather coming in, being able to get dried in down below is sometimes a huge win.